It's crazy that months ago, Dallas was built around Luka Dončić, a ball-dominant wizard, a one-of-a-kind creator who carried the team on his back with his vision, scoring, and just being clutch. And now, Luka's in LA, and it's Anthony Davis taking the reins in Dallas. Pretty much everything's changed. The city lost the face of its franchise, but instead gained a new identity, one that is around defense and size. When the news broke that Luka was going to the Lakers and in return they were getting Anthony Davis, skepticism rippled across the league. I mean, people couldn't believe it. The trade involved two All-NBA players flipped mid-season, something that had never happened before. Some insiders even claimed that Pelinka initially thought Harrison was joking in early discussion. Across Dallas, the fans were stunned. The architect of their team, Luka Dončić, was gone overnight. Mavs loyalists felt betrayed. Former executives called it catastrophic, but Harrison remained confident in his decision. He had no regrets. He framed it as not just a trade, but a massive pivot in the Mavs' identity. They were going from offense first to defense first, from chasing highlight buckets to building a wall in the paint. From day one, AD's arrival was more than symbolic. He carried with him the reputation of being a game-changing defender, a two-way threat, and a player who could still produce at the highest level when healthy. In Dallas, he was going to be the switch, the spine for a team desperate to become defensively strong. We've already seen his impact. Defensively, the Mavs are no longer susceptible to baseline drives or alley-oops. The paint is much harder to breathe. The rotations are better, the weak side support is cleaner, and opponents are increasingly funneled into these contested mid-range options. In simple language, Dallas have become much harder to score on. Offensively, the transition is still taking time, but it's evolving. Dallas no longer run Luka ball. Instead, AD has become a central figure, doing short rolls, providing screens, and getting his touches in the mid-range. He punishes defenses that overcommit, he opens windows for others to cut, spot up, or just move around. When Kyrie comes back, he's obviously going to be the primary creator, and him together with AD create a two-man game that can be one of the best in the entire NBA. Of course, it's not a flawless transition as I stated earlier. There will be idle ball stretches, there's going to be momentary lapses of fluidity, but when it's clicking, it will be a very good offense. Lineups that include both AD and someone like Gafford might feel cramped in spacing, but the Mavs can limit that via movement, cuts, and placing Gafford in the dunker slot, ready for lobs or putbacks. Then AD can take the mid-level zone. It's a reimagined offense, but if it works, it can be better than what many people anticipated. And there's no reason it can't work. Anthony Davis has been in the league for over a decade now, but it feels like somehow his best basketball is still ahead of him. He is stepping into a role that feels custom made for him. He's going to be the number one option on a deep, balanced team that's ready to compete. Sure, the trade that sent Dončić to the Lakers shocked the NBA world. Dallas fans were so upset that they were protesting. But Anthony Davis is a superstar. He's one of, if not the best two-way player in the league. And with the new players around AD, the Mavs suddenly look like a team that's still built to win, and AD is at the center of it all. People forget just how dominant Anthony Davis can be. In New Orleans, he was putting up MVP level numbers, even finishing third in MVP voting one year, but the Pelicans never supported him with enough help to truly compete. Then he went to LA, where he helped LeBron James win a championship in 2020. The only problem is I don't think he got his flowers for that run. He was incredible, but he was always seen as the second option, the Robin to LeBron's Batman. Now in Dallas though, he's the unquestioned star. The system revolves around him. The team goes as far as he takes them. Last year after the trade, AD only played 9 games with the Mavs, but even in that short stretch, he averaged 20 points, 10 rebounds, and over 4 assists while shooting 46% from the field. He was still adjusting, still learning the system, still getting his rhythm back. But now this year, with a full training camp and a roster designed around his strengths, he's set up for something special. One of the biggest problems AD faced in LA was inconsistency at the center position. When he played the 5, he had to do everything. He had to defend the rim, rebound, score inside, and still stretch the floor. It was exhausting. Dallas, on the other hand, have Dereck Lively II and Daniel Gafford, two athletic bigs who can share the burden. When AD wants to play power forward, they can handle the dirty work inside. That means fewer minutes battling 7-footers in the paint and more chances for him to face up, drive, and pick his spots offensively. He will still need some time at center, that's just unavoidable. He's too good at the 5, but Dallas can finally balance his workload. When you look at this Mavericks team, it's clear that Nico Harrison was trying to build around length, defense, and flexibility. Alongside AD, Dallas has guys like PJ Washington, Najee Marshall, and of course rookie Cooper Flagg, all long long, switchable defenders who can take the pressure off Davis on the other end. The more energy he saves on defense, the more he can give you offensively. And the offense should flow better. With shooters like Klay Thompson and Max Christie spacing the floor, AD has more room to operate in the post or mid-range. When the double team comes, he's got reliable kick-out options. Until Kyrie returns, D'Angelo Russell will take over as the main playmaker. Now obviously he's no Luka Dončić, but on his day he can be a steady, creative figure. And he definitely knows how to feed a dominant big. Once Kyrie is healthy, the combo of Kyrie's playmaking and AD's scoring should be lethal. If you think about it, this situation is like a mix of AD's best moments from both his Pelicans and Lakers days. In New Orleans, he was the #1 guy, free to take over games, but he lacked a true supporting cast. In LA, he had a great roster, but he had to share control of the offense. In Dallas, he finally gets a bit of both, a deep team and the full green light. The Mavs can realistically contend for a championship, and Davis doesn't have to look over his shoulder. He's the face now. He gets to decide the pace, the tone, and the outcome of every possession. Of course, all of this depends on one thing: health. If AD stays healthy, he's still one of the top 5 players in basketball. His combination of size, skill, and defense is truly unmatched. But his body has betrayed him before. The Mavs are aware of this, which is why they've stacked up depth and big men around him. Less physical stress could mean fewer injuries, and with more energy to focus on scoring and playmaking, his numbers should go up. If everything clicks, we could see AD put up some of the best stats of his career, easily putting up 26 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists, and elite defense on a team fighting for a top 3 seed in the West. He'll have shooters to space the floor, guards to set him up, and bigs to take the pressure off. He'll be healthy, rested, and more importantly, motivated to prove that he can lead a franchise. Dallas fans are already coming around. The Luka trade hurts. It still does. I don't know if you ever heal from that, but seeing AD take over games, protect the rim, and run the offense through pure dominance will at least start the healing process. The new season could be the start of a new chapter for AD and the Mavs. For AD, it's a chance to finally be the alpha again, to remind everyone that he's not just a sidekick but a generational player in his own right. For Dallas, it's a chance to turn the page from the Luka era and start something different, a team built on defense and toughness. AD just has to stay on the court. If he can stay healthy, there's no reason this can't be his best season ever. The fit is there. The roster, for the most part, makes sense. And this is a massive opportunity, because the Mavs have several advantages they simply didn't have before. They've got a much better interior defense now. Offenses can't just drive freely into the paint. The threat of Davis, backed by Gafford, forces tougher choices. Teams have to kick out, they have to take tough mid-ranges. It's a lot harder to get an easy bucket now when you play the Mavs. The second factor is they have better rebounding control. With their size, Dallas can limit second chances. They can dominate the boards and force opponents to work for every possession. That also flows into the next factor, which is matchup leverage. Dallas can decide which small ball or big heavy sets they want to play. They can optimize depending on whether the opponent has lean guards, a lot of bigs, or if it's a hybrid. Having a towering defender at the apex of the rotation changes how the opponent thinks. You have to be wary of all of Dallas's bigs when you attack the paint. I've glazed the Mavericks enough, but there are still a lot of risks, factors that could cause this team to backfire. Luka's absence is still a huge vacuum. There is no one that can replicate his creation. Against elite defenses, offenses will clog the passing lanes, send double teams, and AD is going to have to make the perfect reads. And to be honest, AD, even at his best, is nowhere near Luka Dončić offensive. Then injuries are the wild card. The Mavs already have Kyrie out, and AD has a long history of missing time. If Dallas leans on him too long, he could break down over a long season, or even worse, in the postseason. Load management will be essential. Then the other issue is spacing. Yes, when Davis and Gafford are on the floor together, you dominate the rebounds, but now you have less space to operate in. It's gonna feel cramped. The other factor is that the role players have to step up. Guys like Max Christie, Marshall, Grimes, they have to hit their shots, or else once again the team stalls and there's a lack of spacing. In a playoff setting, the opposing coaches are gonna come up with different schemes every single night. They're gonna find ways to isolate AD and punish weak rotation spots. Dallas have to remain disciplined and make the right decisions on the fly. Then of course the other factor is, if the model works in the short term, great, but what's the long-term sustainability of it? Dallas have to manage the contracts, their flexibility with the cap space. If they can't re-up the supporting pieces or maintain the roster balance, this structure can easily collapse. When the Mavs traded Luka for AD, it wasn't just a transaction. They were trying to redefine what the franchise was about. It was a huge gamble, changing paths from offense first, from hero ball to defense first, size dominant basketball. The process is gonna have to work, or else Nico Harrison is gonna get a lot more pushback. The early signs showed that Davis isn't just another piece. People talked about him like he was a throwaway piece in a trade, when in reality, he's an all-NBA player. He's someone that can anchor an entire team, and we've already seen in a short span of time that with AD there, Dallas are tougher to score on, they're more physical, more intimidating. If this era can yield a deep playoff run, or maybe even a championship, the trade will go down as one of the greatest decisions ever made. But if not, it will be a cautionary tale. Only time will tell. To see just how good the rest of the Mavs are around Anthony Davis, you have to check out this video right here.